The crowned one.
The crowned one.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Glad to have you back here at the Crown One. And man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. In case you guys haven't noticed, there has been a massive sea change within the gaming genre. Hey, we got some stuff to cover, so let's get into it. And if you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell for the latest updates on the latest uploads for the latest content. Right, so tough tough month. I would say probably tough. What is it? Are we still in the early parts of third quarter? Just starting third quarter, first month of third quarter. Q3 2026. Gaming genre has been taking some hits, and I want to say even with the announcement of Sony stating that they're going to go in digital only, Sony PlayStation. I think that was Q2 month 4 last month. I'll just say last month. I'm trying to be all financial and stuff. But yeah, so just a quick recap of what we've been seeing with Sony PlayStation. We know that they're starting to go, I think it's January 2027, 2028, somewhere close by, going to be switching to digital only. They're going to be getting rid of the physical disc. That's Blu-ray, whatever games play, that they've been selling. They're going to stop that within a year and a half. I think maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And as you guys have seen, people aren't taking that too well. Me personally, I like to buy stuff. I like to hold it in my hand, and that's just how I roll. This has made such a massive stink that even gaming distributors like GameStop and other game stores have threatened to stop selling, or threatened to not sell games like GTA 6 is going to be coming out in fall this year. They have started to threaten Sony PlayStation if they do not switch back over to physical disc. Well, Sony has doubled down, and that's more of a touch point. I won't get too much into it because, guys probably already know about it. This video is actually going to be talking about another massive sea change that I'm sure you guys have heard about, and that is Xbox laying off some 3,200 employees. That is a lot of people. We're talking about a fifth of Xbox just losing part of the organization due to, whatever, we'll get into it, but it's having to do with the lack of sales in games, the lack of interaction, Xbox Game Pass, and what have you. Now, Xbox is admitting the business isn't as healthy after years of big spending. So we're going to break this down. Now, the layoffs themselves, the breakdown of the layoff is that cuts hit Xbox Game Studios, Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and more, which is flattening management layers dramatically. Now, part of the wider Microsoft reductions, this is actually speaking to Microsoft, but it seems like Xbox, I was just talking about Microsoft, but it seems that Xbox is taking the brunt of the fix because of the low margin. And you guys have seen, here's the thing. So I have a 360 and I'm looking at it right now, but I am all in on PlayStation game consoles. I got the 3, 4, and the 5. I wanted to get the 2 and the 1, but I just hadn't come across it, and just, other financial responsibilities. I could get it if I want to, but then again, how much time am I really going to have to play it? Because I'm still playing the PS5 and PC. So anyways, it's neither here nor there. When it comes to Xbox, no announcement game cancellations have been made, but the real pain for many teams has been known. It's been manifest because of layoffs, and that just makes for studio spinoffs. And what's happening is a lot of these game studios like Compulsion Games and Double Fine are starting to go independent. So we do see a light at the end of the tunnel with some of these studios who might be shown the door, but still have an opportunity to walk through another door, so to speak. Now, they're also able to keep their IPs and the funding runway, which is awesome because, and this is just more of a personal opinion, I don't too much like Microsoft, and I'm being very, cordial about the way I'm saying it. I don't really, because it seems like when Microsoft acquires a product, I don't know if they don't do anything with it, or they just kill it, they absorb the intelligence, and they kill off the company, if that makes any sense. So pretty much throwing you out of your own party, even though you sold your party to somebody else. But The thing I like about this is that these game studios will be able to keep their IPs, but if these are some of the same game studios groups that were not producing, that could lead to some reputation issues. I'm not sure what kind, but if these are the ones that have kind of been let go, or they're just allowed to leave because of the low profit margins that Xbox has seen, then, you know, we'll see what happens when they're back on their own. Now, other games like Ninja Theory and Undead Labs sold to new owners to finish some games like Suna, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it, Suna, and the other one is Part 3 of State of Decay. Now, Arcane Studios has now been entering into consultations for potential strategic options. Not sure what the clarity on that is, but you know, we'll see, because no initial details have been released at this time. Now, the studios survive but leave Microsoft, and I think that's, like I said, I think that's a plus if you can walk out of Microsoft and, you know, kind of wash it off. I'm keeping it professional. If you can wash off Microsoft, I think you're at least that's good for you, because now you have your own creative input. You don't have to have the umbrella corporation, no pun intended, for Resident Evil, looking over your shoulder, kind of telling you what to do with your own stuff, or giving you deadlines that might be a bit difficult to meet because of development issues or just development process altogether. So now we're looking to the impacts of the games themselves. So impacts on games and fans is Bethesda continues Starfield. Starfield's going to continue. No Man's Sky. I'm being real childish right now, and I don't care. I like No Man's Sky. But if you like Starfield, hey, look, man, no salt in the game, man. Do your thing. Fallout updates are still going to be rolled out, and also remasters, despite the cuts that you're seeing. So there are impacts because of the layoffs, but the development of some of these more well-known games like Starfield and Fallout updates will still be rolled out according to what Xbox is saying. So we'll see. Now, the shifts in investment to higher priority projects efficiency, and that's again talking about the impact. They want to, I guess I'm kind of using this like a better of a term. They want to make a more leaner team, which I totally understand and I respect it. You know, you want a lean, mean fighting machine is what we would say military. You want to make it lean, make it efficient, trim the fat, you know, keep all the healthy stuff, and, you know, flesh out the stuff that's not so healthy. So this will highlight industry volatility, but it also opens doors to spun off studios for those teams that might not be considered efficient, or I would say conducive to the new process, or the great Xbox reset, is what I've started to come to recognize it as. Still gives them the opportunity to possibly spin off and go their own direction. Now, we'll get to see that in real time, and how this reshapes Xbox and Game Pass long term. And I think that's the thing we have to focus on. I know immediately, RC, at the initial response, people are seeing Xbox kind of taking the brunt of this and like, oh my goodness, Xbox is doomed. We don't know yet. I mean, it's a really big corporation, and then we also have Microsoft, which is obviously parent of Xbox, and that's from what if I remember, I've been playing games for so long. Xbox is the baby, you know, that's Microsoft's baby. They're not, you know, they're gonna probably keep that alive until the second coming, for all we know. Now, I don't play Xbox. Like I said, I got one right here because it was a particular game that I wanted to play, and I realized it was on the original Xbox, and I've been trying to find that one for years. You know, the prices are ridiculous. I'm trying to wait for a lower price or something like that, or get it on eBay at discount. But anyway, now how this looks, you know, like I said, the outset of this is we just have to see how it plays out. For those who are really into Xbox, you know, I would encourage patience. I mean, what are you gonna do? You still have the backlogs of your Xbox games, and you know, there's also Steam, because I definitely play Steam. I've done lots of uploads with Steam. You guys already know what it is, and yes, that's digital, but we still have the option. You know, the option is not being stripped from us. We already know what Steam is, with the exception, and then of course we can put the games on our hard drive and it's ours. We don't need to have Steam active in order to play the games. Once you buy it off Steam, you download to your drive, and it's your game. But it seems like I'm kind of gravitating back towards PlayStation because I grew up with PlayStation, man, and it's leaving a real bad taste in my mouth, this whole disc-free nonsense. I'm a Gen Xer, man, and we like to own stuff. When we buy stuff, we want to hold it in our hand, and we want ownership, because there are talks around, and I'm kind of shifting. I'm kind of done with the Xbox thing. Now I'm talking about PlayStation, just for a minute. This is gonna be my outro rant. There's a saying: if purchase isn't ownership, piracy isn't theft. And I'm not going to say I agree with that, because that's still stealing. And we have to be mindful of the behavior that we're setting. Now, I'm not going pro-corporate on you, you know what I'm saying? Even though I do support capitalism and free market, free market society. I don't like the practices of Sony PlayStation with this whole disc-free thing, and then also this license nonsense. You're paying for access to a license, or paying for a license to access. And me growing up, when you bought a game like an NES video game, Super Mario Brothers, we'll go straight up old school, Super Mario Brothers, that was your game. You didn't need to be connected to the internet to play, and you weren't barred from playing if you weren't connected to the internet. And if you wanted to pass your game off to somebody else who has a console just like you but doesn't have the game, you pass it off to them. I remember those days. And I'm sure there are people who are old enough to remember, hey, look, go back to Atari. Hey, bro, can I borrow your game? Sure, here you go. And, you play it like that. It sounds so simple. It sounds ludicrous that you wouldn't be able to play your own game without being connected to the internet so they can monitor your telemetry and stuff like that, and then seeing a bunch of advertisements sell you third-party information. That's my rant. But with all that being said, we have the games that we have. We can play the games that we play. It's not as so much that we don't need them, because we don't. Video games, for the whole part, is not a quality of life issue. We can go on into other things, go outside, touch grass, hike, do all sorts of other things. And I know that sounds like sacrilege to some, but look, man, if it ever comes, push comes to shove and gaming is no longer a thing, there are other things to do. Of course, really not going to happen. You're always going to have somebody developing games, but always consider an alternative. Don't just let video games be the only thing. It could be the main thing, fine, whatever. Don't let it be the only thing. Have a few hobbies. Go outside and do some stuff, interact with other people. I know it gets tough sometimes, but that's what it is. And that way you find yourself, when you see news like this, when PlayStation is really tripping and Xbox is kicking, people off the team and laying people off and stuff, I guess you won't have such a reaction. Now, like I said, Microsoft, they're going to do their thing. PlayStation going to do the thing. That's their company. They have every single right to do what they want. And we have every single right to not purchase anything from them. That is our right. You want to purchase something from them, then that's cool. If you don't want to, then that's cool too. It's your money. You don't have to get it. You don't have to surround your life with stuff. Surround your life with video games. It's just a game, and it's all good. So, sorry if I got a little preachy there with you, but just want to encourage you guys. It's not the end of the world, at least not yet. You know what I'm saying? We might have a few decades. Who knows? But if you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell for latest updates and latest uploads for the latest content. This is Crown One signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later.